Hello, today we're unboxing a Suresult D3Ultra Handheld Ultrasound. Here's a fancy aluminum box with locks, that's nice. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, we have an envelope, and we have a card inside, a thank you, and some financial incentive to share on social media. And what do we have here? We have a quick start guide on how to get set up and use your unit. We have a wireless charging pad. We have the keys to the case. We have our Suresult D3 Ultra firmly packaged. Yeah, that's not going to move around once you have that securely in there. That's good. We have our choice of plugs. Depending on what you need, you let them know which one you want, and they'll send you the one you want. And of course, we have the cable to connect the plug to the charging pad. Okay, let's get this thing charged first. Make sure to tell them what type of plug you need. Okay. Charging pad. Ooh, fancy. And that should pick up. Oh, there we go. And it's charging. So it already has 3 dots. So I'm just waiting for one more dot. So I probably don't need to charge it before using it here, but I'll fully charge it. So let me take a moment just to talk about this unit, why I purchased it and what it's good for. So this unit, double-ended, a curvilinear probe and a linear probe. Curvilinear, I think it's 3 to 5 megahertz. Linear probe, 7.5 to 10 megahertz. Fairly standard values for a curvilinear and a linear probe. It also has a third option, a sector probe feature where it turns off the elements on either side of the curvilinear probe and just uses the center elements. This allows you to see between the ribs, so it's good for cardiology. Now, I already had a unit that I was using for musculoskeletal ultrasound, which I still use sometimes, and I wanted a unit that would expand what I'm capable of. The other unit I have is useless at depths much more than 4 centimeters. So I wanted something that I could scan the hip with, and that would be good for if I wanted to look for abdominal aortic aneurysms, or someone was maybe obese and I need the extra depth of the curvilinear. I just wanted more options. The scanning protocols, the EFAST protocol, the RUSH protocol. So I just wanted more options. And honestly, it turns out I like this more than my other unit. My other unit's much more expensive and basically requires a subscription that I don't really want to pay for. But I do pull it out every once in a while when I need super high resolution. But for the most part, I've been surprised how often I'll grab this because the app's faster, doesn't require a subscription, it's just quick and easy. And the other unit, I'm not paying for the subscription, so I don't get any features. This, I get all the features without the subscription. So I in particular, I love dual screen or split screen mode. I like to check the symptomatic side versus the asymptomatic side. So that's why I grabbed this over my other unit. And this is a high quality unit. I'm surprised for the price. 192 elements, 64 channels. Something like this more than a year or two ago would have been unheard of for much less than 5,000 USD. So, with the advance of technology, I guess the prices just keep on coming down. So now we need to connect our ultrasound unit to our tablet or phone. So to begin the process, I'm going to go to the Google Play Store, and I'm going to search, and I'm going to search for wireless USG. There it is right there, wireless USG. And I'm going to install. It's a very small program, so it should download very quickly. Yeah, it's 8 megabytes, my goodness, so tiny. Okay, installing, and it should appear on our screen here. There it is. Now it does require access to location for some reason. Don't know why. Okay, so we have a symbol here in the corner. of the screen, and that brings us to Wi-Fi settings. So every time you start up the app, if you want to connect to the unit, you'll need to click that and switch to the unit's Wi-Fi. Now the first time we'll need to put in the password, but aside from that you just need to click on the wireless network and connect to it, and then you're good to go, and you just hit the back button to get back to this, and then you're ready to scan. Okay, so we're going to go to the Wi-Fi settings, and I'm going to turn on the unit. So I just press the button and the unit's on. And so now it is emitting Wi-Fi. It's trying to connect with Wi-Fi. So one of the available networks should be our unit, and it's this one here, this SX6CT. So I'm going to click on that, and now we need a password. The password is going to be right on the unit itself. Well, the password is the serial number. So for me, it starts with that W. Remember, enter everything lowercase. So if I enter everything lowercase, I should be able to connect. And you get this warning because, of course, the wireless ultrasound doesn't have internet. Oh. So, of course, you only have to answer that question once. Okay, now I should be able to go back to back, and now we're in, and now on subsequent times, it'll be much faster. Right? To turn this unit off, I can just hold down the button, and if you hold down it a little bit, it switches to the other probe, and you hold it down long enough, it turns off completely. So now it's turned off completely. So on a subsequent visit, I want to start scanning. I can turn this on. I can go to the wireless USG app. I can click over here. It's already auto-connecting, although sometimes you have to connect to it manually. So I'd click on it, then I go back, and then I'm ready to start scanning. So let's talk a little bit about the app. We have some presets up here, and these are the presets for the curvilinear. If I hold down the button for a second, you'll see the light switch to the other side. Now it's on the linear side, so the presets have changed, right? Now for me, I'm a musculoskeletal sonographer, so I just stick to the MSK. Let's try to go through basically every feature here. So if I have it running, I can turn the gain up and down. And in fact, I want to sort of see my values. I can go to presets and show information. So I can see what values I have. And so I can turn it on. I'm not a fan of compound imaging. It's frequency compound imaging. I'm going to turn that off. And so gain, I can turn gain up or down. I typically have gain pretty much maxed out. Depth, you can click the button and it will cycle through various depths. You can also just sort of swipe up and down to change the depth. Focal points, it's these little arrows there. You want these little arrowheads to match the structures that you're most interested in. And if I tap the button, it just moves them around a little bit. This DYN is dynamic range. This is basically your contrast setting. Harmonic, that is which frequency. Right now it's at 10 megahertz. Now it's 7.5 megahertz. Back to 10 megahertz. Denoise, there's some denoise settings. B mode, here is where I can turn on color Doppler, power Doppler, pulse wave Doppler. So I can turn on my various modes there. Freeze button here. Once we've frozen an image, we can use our measurement tools. For myself, I use a lot of tracing, and I use a lot of length. So we can annotate, type where we want. There. And we can have our annotation. We can clear our annotations. We can save the image. We can save our Cineclip, depending on how many frames we've saved so far. We have our patient information. And over here we have our TGC that you can only access if the unit is running. Similarly, like some of the features you can only change as the unit is running, including split screen. Split screen, which is just really great if you want to compare a symptomatic side to asymptomatic side. So let's take an image or two just so you can see some examples. So let's look for the common extensor tendon. Oh. And there it is there, connecting to the epicondyle. And maybe we want to look for the median nerve. And there's my median nerve. If I wanted the cross-sectional area, I can take a measurement. I can trace that. And 0.06 centimeters squared is normal. And it's usually larger than 0.09 centimeters squared if there is a carpal tunnel syndrome. So it was just that easy. And maybe we should do the carotid. There we are. Let's keep that centered. Nice. Maybe the thyroid. Oh, you see that? I have a tiny nodule. So I have a tiny nodule in my thyroid gland. And I could take tools, right? And I could measure the dimensions of this. Right, length of 3.34 millimeters. So it's a small one, right? Nothing to worry about. Lots of people have these little nodules in their thyroid gland. And let's do one curvilinear one. So I hold the button, it switches to curvilinear one. Let's do abdomen. Let's do Morison's pouch now. I can take this, looking at kidney and liver, the space between, and looking for free fluid, let's say after an accident, and everything looks fine. To turn it off, all I do is hold down the button and it'll turn itself off. And that's it. Done using it. Now, you're going to want to protect your investment. So I advise, when you're putting gel on, try not to scratch up these surfaces and don't let this thing get banged up, particularly these surfaces. The other thing I'll say is you don't want to use high alcohol content cleaning wipes on these units because that will also degrade these materials. I have some sonography safe disinfectant wipes with low alcohol content to make sure that I don't degrade my investment. Now, if you want more sample scans, I have an hour-long video where I compare the D3 Ultra against a more expensive unit, and you can search for that. Right now, the D3 Ultra is on sale for $2,800 from Suresult's website. If you use my coupon code POCUS11, you get 11% off. I hope you found this video useful. Cheers.